all these buttons, and then they changed it up on me. They changed it up on me. Zoom, you silly little Zoom, you silly Zoom. Happy Monday to everybody. Happy Christmas week. Doesn't seem possible. Doesn't seem possible. All right, I got my red on for Christmas. Good morning, everybody. Today is episode 251 times this year. I have been blessed to be a part of the show. Today is 251, and today's topic is going to be about decisions. And I got a little bit of a personal story I'm going to tell you all. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning to you all. Happy Monday to you. For those writing notes down, right on the top piece of your paper, write down decisions, and we're going to get into that. Whew. What a beautiful Monday morning. It doesn't seem I made a mistake all. So D, I was going through my inventory. I don't know how you guys, everybody, I've learned that Christmas is very different from everybody. And I was doing some inventory and I found out that I favor my son a little bit more than my daughter because he's got a lot more gifts than she does. And I was just like, all right, I'm gonna have to go back to the store today to kind of like match it up because guess what? I just know, John, that they're going to be counting. They're going to be looking. I already got a couple of different excuses up my sleeve, but I just tell y'all, I didn't know Lululemon was that expensive. I had no clue that Lululemon was that expensive, Karen. And I'm gonna have a little talk with my daughter. Have a little talk with her. Like, listen, have you ever heard of Temu and Sheen? I've heard of these new things that they got online. They're a lot cheaper than this Lululemon, that's for sure. But anyway, so we're having a good old time. So we're gonna talk a little bit about Christmas. But good morning, everybody. My name, Coach Brock, Zevan Life Coach, business coach, real estate agent in the DAD. And I realized that I made myself a little bit of a mistake and I reset my computer. How many of you reset your computer like each night or each week? I do mine on Fridays. And I'm also learning, Chad, that you should do it to your phone. You should reset your phone because your phone's like a little mini computer and you should reset your phone. So I'm learning a couple things, Robin, learning a couple things on that. Guys, for those of you that maybe saw the show on Friday, let's get our numbers going. Let's get our numbers going. And put a 7 if you were able to see Frank on Friday. Put a 7 if you saw what Michelle and I did on Friday with Frank. And just an amazing guy. For those that were able to see the show, if you didn't see the show, go back on Friday and watch it. And we had an overwhelming response. Um, very just thankful for the amount of text message I was received of just hearing him and asking me if he's going to come back, asking me if he's going to come back. So we texted him. I reached out to him, and he said yes. He said yes. And so mark it on your calendars. We are going to do an in-depth about those. I loved his line. Reactive is reading, proactive is writing. I love that line. And I really been working and I have it with my kids of having them write more and be creative. And Bryce is big into drawing, but Brielle not so much onto that. So just the writing aspect of things. But we're gonna help you write. We're gonna help you write a book. We're gonna help you develop this proactiveness and mark it on your calendar. It will be February 21st. February 21st on the calendar. You'll hear more about it. We are going to make a big to-do about it because more people need to be writing, there's a lot of people who have a story. Put a 1 in the chat if you have a story to tell. Put a 1 in the chat if you have a story to tell. And if you don't feel confident with putting a 1 in the chat, you need to just take a chance on me telling you to put a 1 in the chat because we each have a story to tell. Right, Rosario? Rosario hates when I tell her my thoughts on her story. I'm like, hey, this is what you need to be doing. This is what you need to be doing, Rosario. She knows that I fill it with love and annoyingness, but I ask her a question every week. Like, did you get this done, Rosario? Did you get it done? Good morning, Zena. Good morning to all of you on the Facebook world. Let's get ourselves started here. Everybody, unmute yourself, and I count of three. On the count of three, we're going to say good morning to everybody. So unmute yourself. 1, 2, and 3. Good
Good morning.
morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Some of you are like, where is my mute button? Where's my mute button? I was not ready for that. Wasn't ready for that. All right. So let us get into our affirmation that we do each and every Monday that I lead, number 251. Today, saying it together on this Christmas week, something good is going to happen to me. Something good is going to happen through me. So today's message on decisions, I hope something good will happen through me to help you. Okay. How many of you have heard of the show? Just put a yes in the chat or put a Y. How many of you have heard the show Yellowstone? How many of you have heard the show Yellowstone? How many? Put a Y or put a yes in here. I think the guy's name's Taylor Sheraton or Taylor something. But I listened to his story this weekend. If you haven't heard his story, it's fascinating. So as I'm listening to his story, I want you to write down this number 10. In the Bible, they say 40 is a magical number. In this case here for entrepreneurship, 10 is a very magical number. And as I was reflecting on the number 10, I was starting to think back to where I was 10 years ago. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. But for entrepreneurs, 10 is a magical number. And in the Bible, it's 40. But we're not going to get into the Bible today as much as we're going to get into the thought of or the topic of decisions, the number 10, and a personal story that I want to share with you as we get into Christmas week. So I was thinking about the word decisions today, Chad, and I said to myself, Karen, how many decisions does the average adult make? I'm like, I wonder how many we make. So take a guess, put it in the chat. How many of you think, or how many decisions we make on an average each day? The average adult, how many decisions do we make? Put it in the chat. Some of you are going to be like, I don't know, Brock. I have no idea. No clue. 1. Very good. Jay, could you pull up what I looked up, of course, on artificial intelligence? Because John Hart got it correct. The average person makes around 35,000. If you look a little bit below, it says the average adult makes 33 to 35,000 total decisions each day, including what we will eat, what we will wear, what we will say, and how we will say it. I thought that was very fascinating. Thank you, Jay. Now, my next question is this. How many of you would agree that these decisions we make daily can be good or bad? So put a yes in the chat if you agree with that. That each decision I make, there's an opportunity for it to be a good decision and a bad decision. How many would feel that you know what, you're right. I've already made a couple bad decisions already today. Maybe I didn't go work out. Maybe I ate something I shouldn't have. Honestly, I had to make a decision today based off my intermediate fasting on changing my cream up from sugar to no sugar. Simple things like that are a decision that I had to make because I had one in one hand, one in the other. And I was like, damn, fine, I'll do the no sugar today. Little things like this, because Chad knows for our financial gurus, John and Christian, my financial people know, how many of you have heard of this famous concept called the compound effect? If you've heard the compound effect, put an 8 in the chat. Put an 8 in the chat. Have you heard about the compound effect? Now, as I sip on my cup of coffee here, honestly, I'm trying to prep myself because I feel like I could cry at any given point on my story I'm about to tell you. And so I'm trying to gather my energy from what I'm about to share. And so as I begin to share my story, we all remember the magical number I told us on what happens to entrepreneurs. And Taylor on the show Yellowstone, his situation happened 10 years ago when he was on a set and they told him he can either do it their way or they'll fire him and they can do it his way. If you find out, I think was it Taylor Sheraton? Is that his last name? I should have, yeah. If you go Google his name and figure out how much he's worth, he told the producers at the time period that he wasn't going to take the $800 that they were going to give him because he wanted to do something different. Do you know that Paramount pretty much only produces Taylor Sheraton shows? Do you know that his ranch that he bought in Montana is now leased out by large corporations for what because he decided to make a decision 10 years ago. It doesn't include the hell and the chaos that he did to get to that 10 years. But 10 years, he had a defining moment to make a change in his life. And I gotta believe we would all agree here, because when I asked how many of you have heard of the show Yellowstone, and if I labeled to you some of the other shows that he's done, we would all be like, wow, yes. And it transformed his life, but it was 10 years ago that he made a decision. So in 2 days, it's going to be December 25th, 2024. So I reflected 10 years ago on this to be able to see where I was going, but more importantly, because remember our topic today is decisions. So 10 years ago, everyone, I was making some decisions. And I asked you all, can you make good decisions or bad decisions? I was making a lot of bad decisions. Some really terrible decisions. 10 years ago, I was 36 years old. The heaviness of my drinking was pretty much at its max. I was really understanding that I was a very, very good functioning alcoholic. I actually had a conversation with myself. I'm making some decisions on how much I could drink and know that I could still continue on my day. I knew that I could drink a bottle of wine in the morning and still function at a normal level. I still can operate through my day. I can still drive my car. I still can function as a normal human being. At the time period of these decisions that I was making, I also realized that I could still do real estate and make an income. I could still have a family. I was married. Brielle was 2 years old. And I was still functioning. I wasn't part of Christmas because I was busy drinking and still having opportunities, because guess what? Christmas parties were a big thing. And I was still in the grass of drinking and Christmas parties and staying out late. Hell, do you think I was wrapping gifts? Nope. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. I was in the compound effect of making poor decisions over and over and over again. Now, I gotta believe my financial gurus can prove me wrong if what I say is not correct. But I gotta believe that if you put money away and you put it in an interest-bearing account, over time, that money would grow. Is that fair to say, everybody? Would we all agree to that? And I don't even need to think you need to have a financial degree to be able to say that. But the compound effect says that if you continue to pour into this and make these decisions, and over time, they will continue to grow. Well, that happened to me. I continued to make these decisions over and over again. And they affected me to a breaking point that I lost everything. Lost my family, lost my house, lost both my cars, IRS debt, financial problems, court issues, legalities with affiliation, property management lawsuits. Christmas. Huh. 10 years ago, my life was totally different than it is today. my my challenging part, and as I try to collect myself, my challenging part this week is I don't think I would wish this on my worst enemy. I don't wish this upon really anybody at all. Maybe back in the day I used to, because I'd have so much hate inside. But I don't wish this upon any person whatsoever, because the amount of pain or emotion you can't control. That's why when I hear people's emotions, like, you can't fix them instantaneously. And the reason why I reflect on these 10 years is because all the habits and all the decisions and all the different things that I was making will affect me in 2 days. And I've been dealing with this for about 3 weeks now. And I still try to muster myself up with all my mindset and shows and visions and everything else that you possibly can imagine under the sun. But still, it won't remove the fact, the pain I will feel for things I did 10 years ago, because it lost my family. And I won't wake up Christmas morning with my kids. And it's the first time for me. And it's hard. Because for those that, when you remember seeing your kids that morning, to not have that, it's hard. It's not just, Bryce is 6. He's excited. I have to write notes every day. But every day, every time I write a note, the pain of knowing Christmas morning that it's not going to happen. I won't be able to be a part of that. I can be part of this. And it's because of the decisions I made over and over and over again 10 years ago is affecting me today. But I know this, I am stronger now than I was 10 years ago. And I know that the decisions I'm making today are going to help me in 2034, 10 years from today, when I'm 56 years old, when I'm in a totally different position, and I will remember this show. I will remember this episode 251 on 2024, December 23rd. I will remember this because this show, this opportunity is helping somebody else out that might be in a totally different position. Maybe they lost a loved one, and they lost their significant other. They lost their husband, their wife, their child, whatever it might be. And this could be their first Christmas of doing something on their own. You don't know. I don't know. I just know the pain that I have on Christmas morning is preparing me for something bigger and better, because today I make better decisions. Today I make good decisions, and I compound that. So when people say to me today, just recently, man, you're so lucky. Man, you're lucky. I'm like, you have no idea what luck is. You don't know what I've been through. Because 10 years, that's hard. My first time not having the kids. First time ever. I'm already planning and preparing and how I want to face it, because we can have a decision on that morning. Do I want to like go for a walk? Do I go to church? Like, what do I do? Could I drink? Could I be like, F it, Brock? These are all decisions I will have that morning. I will wake up, but I'm more prepared. So today, as I conclude, I want you to think about some of the decisions you're making right now. Are they good? Are they bad? Are these decisions helping you, hurting you? I was listening to Eric Thomas this morning, and somebody died of I can't remember. It was in his liver. Somebody's going to tell it in the chat, but he died of his liver, basically drinking. And he was stating that cirrhosis of the liver, I believe it is. And he says that that person did not, it was his uncle. He's like, my uncle didn't die of cirrhosis of the liver that day. He died from his years of drinking. If you have lung cancer, it's not that day lung cancer hits you, it's all the years of smoking cigarettes. My thing on Wednesday morning is not suddenly my kids were stripped and kidnapped from me on Wednesday morning, on Christmas morning. It was from my decisions that I made many years ago that are going to affect me Wednesday morning. But that is just the part of being able to grow. That is the part that I challenge you all here today, of figuring out who are you around to help you make better decisions in 2025. What do you got going on in 2025 that can help you become the version and the person you want to be? Are you in any type of, are you in a church group? Are you in coaching? Are you in mentoring? Are you around people to help you? So in 10 years from now, you can be like, damn, I listened to this guy and he helped me transform my life because I started to make better decisions. I didn't let money get in my way. I didn't let this happen. I didn't let fear of, I don't know if I should do that. I don't know if I should really get with the Chad on trying to figure out my financials. I didn't really know I should get with Amy Kane to physically get myself in a better physical training. Christian to be like, I don't know if I can afford his coaching and what he does. I don't know, John, he just seems to be like only deals with millionaires. I don't know if I should talk to Rosario about my credit because I'm scared. I don't know if I can afford Brock to coach me and help me with my life, to get me organized and accountability. I just don't know. I do know this. The decisions you make these next several days of reflecting on your 2025, I personally can tell you these small little decisions will affect you in some capacity later down the road. These little things. People ask me, Brock, why are you doing intermediate fasting now? Why are you doing it during the holidays? I said, as you get older, Christmas has more excuses than they give you gifts as you get older. Oh, I can't do it, or I got this party, or this is taking place. I shouldn't do it, and it's hard, and the kids are up, and you shouldn't get up at this time period, and you're going to eat fatty foods and all the Christmas cookies, blah, blah. I was like, Christmas just gives us more excuses than it gives gifts as we get older. That's all it does. It allows us to be, well, it's Christmas season, which is fine. I'm not taking away from the Christmas season, but this is also a growing season for you all. This is when you will talk to people you haven't talked to in a year, and you will share stories, and they will either say, same old, another dollar, another day, or you can have that badass mentality, that growth mindset, that, you know what, I'm making a decision that started on December 23rd, 2024, for me to do something different this year. For me to be the best version of myself. So in 10 years, my new defining moment will have a different ending to my story. Guys, we'll be here all week. Even on Christmas morning, we will be here. We will conclude Friday with our 255th episode on the Mindset Morning Show. Chad will be here tomorrow morning at 8:15. I encourage you to be here. I encourage you to find somebody. I encourage you to write down whatever decision that you've been holding out on, the hard decisions, whether it's emotional, financially, health, spiritual, whatever decision is. I want you to write it down today. I encourage you to tell it to somebody. I encourage you to tell it to somebody who's in that zone. If it's a financial problem, you need to talk to the people that are your financial gurus. If it's a building, a problem, if it's a credit problem, it's a life problem, you need to talk to the people. Maybe it's a Derek Green, a Rebecca, a Chad, a Christian, a Amy Kane. Whatever it is that's holding you back, I want you to look at that decision and be like, this is the year I face it. This is the year. And just like I'll face it on Christmas morning, I'll face it. I'll look back at my 10 years and be like, you know what? I can't wait for my next 10. Who's going to be around me that I can help? Who's going to help me on amazing people that I'm going to have? Because that's the Christmas. It's not the gift, it's the people around me. Guys, if anybody has anything that they had to say, please feel free to come off the microphone, raise your hand, unmute yourself. If you got something out of today, I asked you to put a 5 in the chat. Put a 5 in the chat. And I open it up to anybody who'd like to share with me this morning.
Good morning, Brock and family. How we doing? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Paul.
A, thanks for being vulnerable today. B, thanks for taking accountability. And C, for all of the people out there that are in victimhood, you're going to miss the growth that you talked about because you got to take the accountability to get to the growth. So great job to you. Great things coming. And I wish you and yours Merry Christmas when you're all back together, my friend.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for I love how you even broke it down, the A, B, and the C. Makes it so much easier for us. Thank you very much for sharing this morning, and safe travels for you and your family for where you're going. Awesome. Anybody else? It's Christmas week. We got a little extra time. Who has anything else they'd like to share?
Good morning, Latrice.
Good morning, Latrice.
Good morning. I just wanted to tell you, thank you so much, for sharing your story and sharing yourself with us. And as Justin said, your vulnerability with us, because we know how important your kids are to you. But I love that you said it's either a decision, and you get to choose either the drinking, or the decision of destruction, or the decision of accountability and advancement. And I'm sure, because you live by example, and that's why we love you and follow you, because you don't just preach, but you practice what you preach, and you set the example and the stage for us. So I love you, brother. Thank you so much, and happy holidays to everyone. God bless you all.
Happy holidays to you, Latrice. Thank you so much for sharing. I love you, sister. And thank you so much for your kind words. And you were right. It was Paul. It was Paul who said it. So thank you to you both for sharing. Anybody else? Karen, what do you have for us, Karen?
I thank you for sharing your story. So the last few years, on special occasions, on holidays, especially, or different things, I have too felt the loss of not being able to have all my kids together with me at the same time. However, I reminded myself part of this is because of your decision you made to survive. And so it just, your story resonated with me this morning. Thank you for sharing. And I want to wish everyone here a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, thank you, Karen. I appreciate you sharing your stories. As I'm sure if we went around the room, many of us, there's some impact onto this. And God put it on my heart for the last couple of weeks, and I just didn't know how I was going to express it. And I'm thankful to have this platform to be able to share it on this. And so thank you, Karen. Thank you for sharing as well. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you. Anybody else? It's Christmas. I don't care if we run a little bit late today. Anybody have anything else they would like to share with us this morning? Feel free.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Brock.
Good morning, Rosario.
I was trying to get my knot first.
Yeah, mine
I'm
was a
like,
big one
oh
this
my
morning.
God, stop. Man, like this is so, it hit home. And one thing I can say is to see like every day, like what you do in your growth to see, oh my gosh, it just makes it so relatable, like doable, and being transparent all this time. It's anybody can do it, and being able to get yourself out of that victim mode, because I was there and sometimes I fall back into that victim mode, but now I catch myself because I have you guys, and every day I practice a little bit at a time, and it's not easy, but at the end of the day, it's not about us. It's about the other people that are waiting for us to be in a better place, and those people are our children to start off. So, Brock, whatever you did back then, God already forgave you, and your kids will understand. So, blessings to everybody, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Rosario. I appreciate you sharing that this morning. I know you've had a lot in your life as well. And so thank you very much for working through that knot that you have inside of your throat in sharing this Christmas message that you have inside of you. So Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and your family down there in Texas, down there. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share before we conclude? Going once, going twice. Dee. Oh,
Hey, this is my granddaughter Hannah.
hi, Hannah.
Just ate a donut, so she's wild. But just want to thank you for being so transparent and pushing and nodding all of us to take a look at ourselves and where we're at and where we're going. Have done that, and I appreciate that. And 2025 is going to be a very different year for me, and I will be reaching out.
Well, I appreciate you being on here. I know you got a lot going on there. You had the dog over there, you had your grandchild over there. It's a full house over there, but I appreciate you, Dee, for being on here, and we've been friends for quite some time, and thank you so much for your support. And I want to be that listening ear, and thank you for just being the person you are. And Merry Christmas to you, your family, those little ones there, and Happy Holidays to you as well. So thank you, Dee. Anybody else before we go? All right. Guys, I appreciate everybody sticking around a little bit later. It is a little bit of a unique week. As you all know, I'm always like, gotta end, we gotta do this. But you know what? It's Christmas week. It is the last 4 episodes of 2024. So all those leaders that you're listening, you do whatever you want this week on your show and your platform. Create it however you want this week, because this is what it's all about, is being able to share from the heart, give exposure, or inspire and help other people during this time period of the season. Guys, I want to wish you all I don't talk to you this week, I will be here, but if I don't, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you and your family. Safe travels wherever you might be. Today's a big travel season, travel day. But God bless you all. Thank you so much for those of you on the Facebook. I am reading all your chats there. Angela and Diana and Rosario and Michelle and Janet and Michael. Thank you guys all very much for being on here today. Wish you all very happy holidays. We'll be back. We're still here tomorrow. Our main man, Mr. Chad Free, will be here 8:15 Eastern time. You invite somebody, come with us to celebrate Christmas Eve with Chad Free. Look at that. It kind of rhymes. Eve and free. Look at that. Have a great day, y'all. You guys, talk to you later. See ya.